I'm about to share a story with you that'll make you feel a little bit better about yourself. So when I was in college 11 years ago, I couldn't believe that people would wear long johns. I'm from California and I went to school on the East Coast. So much so that you're going to think this is crazy, I dropped out of school. So you can imagine how my parents felt about that. And, my brothers probably thought I was dumb. I'm the youngest of three. And, one of my friends' dads called me, for instance, to try and talk me off the ledge. And I've had a lot of conviction about this. And I stuck to my guns and I pursued a career as a pants company founder, as a 21-year-old with no business experience. So I'm 21, I drop out of school, and I start contacting the supply chain of the garment industry, which is textile mills, garment manufacturers, pattern design makers, and suppliers. And ultimately, I create a pair of pants. That was the first big milestone. And then I had a little Kickstarter, about $20,000 or so, and we fulfilled it by $2,000 in surplus of the goal. So $22,000, I think I did. And I, started selling some pants. I got into a store, and ultimately I gained enough traction so that someone I still know, who was an accountant, joined me full time in this venture. So that person complimented me well, and we made a good team. And we ultimately had enough demand at one point that we outsourced production from a San Francisco manufacturer where we were initially manufacturing to a China manufacturer. And the reason we did this is because we had a subsequent Kickstarter campaign where we were ranked first in the design or the apparel category. I forget which category it was. And I say that not to impress you, but to impress upon you the implications of that, which is when you're ranked at the top, you're on the front of the Kickstarter page. So that really is a catalyst for demand, for making more sales. So we did about $250,000 in sales. And so you can imagine that's a lot of pants. So that's why we had to outsource production to China, because the manufacturer in San Francisco couldn't keep up with the demand for our delivery dates to the people who purchase pants. So we flew to China, and we didn't use the Kickstarter money for what that's worth. I used my mom. She had miles, so thank you, Mom. And we met with the manufacturer, and we paid for a quality assurance team to, inspect the pants. And unfortunately, there was a manufacturing error where sizes were inputted incorrectly into the pattern design making software, so that offset some of the measurements required to make a proper fitting pair of pants, because everything, as you can imagine, needs to be calibrated properly. So that was devastating because people had paid for pants. Hundreds of people, over 1,300 plus people. And some of the pants were fitted properly, and we delivered pants to about half of the backers. And I remember the night when we went out of business. We literally went out of business overnight. And I'm going to skip over a lot of details. But basically, hundreds of people, I had given out my phone number and my email during the manufacturing process. And I said, hey, if anyone ever wants to contact me directly, I'm more than happy to provide you with an update. And now people were contacting me asking, where their pants were. Some people spent, multiple hundreds of dollars, and it just felt, and I still feel terrible about it. And the difficult part of it, one of the difficult parts of it, is that people think that you're a greedy person, that you stole their money and ran away, which was not the case at all. I was broke. The company was out of business. I was, certainly in credit card debt. That's nothing new, but financially, I was certainly in a hole and living at my parents' house. And and then dealing with the certainly a lot of backlash, deservedly so, from this Kickstarter campaign. So it was a remarkable sense of overwhelm that really requires resilience in some way. All right, so I think we've heard enough of my conflict. There were, more trouble ensued. There was legal trouble and a lot of conflict, but we all have some conflict, some hardship that we need to deal with. And that's the critical thing, is that we deal with it. We can handle it, and we always will. So I want to share 2 critical observations that will allow you to see life in a pretty optimistic way. So much so that you'll be able to say, hey, had this bad thing never happened, then I wouldn't be experiencing whatever event unfolds moving forward. I'll give you a hypothetical example of how this could play out. Let's say you're an alcoholic and you have tremendous shame and you spend a lot of money on being an alcoholic and you ruin relationships and the list goes on. So you go to AA, and while you're at AA, you meet the love of your life. And let's say you even start a family with that person. Well, you never would have started that family. You never would have met the love of your life had you never been an alcoholic, because you never would have gone to AA. I think you get the idea. So I can't stress enough how you want to connect the dots of, hey, this never would have happened had this bad thing not have happened. Therefore, it's not even bad. It's important. Cool? Hope that helps.